Welcome back to the War Room, everyone. I'm Julian Archer, and I am ready to set the record straight on a day where democracy feels like it's being sold for parts at a police auction.
And I'm Mary Kane, the woman who's been in the trenches long enough to know when the smell in the air isn't just ozone. It's a systemic rot in the pipes.
This is John Steele. I'm just here to witness the slow-motion car crash of our institutions before I retreat back to the goats.
And Maya Thorne here, high-key reporting from the front lines of the flop era of Western civilization.
We have a truly crucial show today, folks. We're following up on yesterday's absolute chaos, where the Trump administration basically ghosted our NATO allies like a bad Tinder date and continued the quiet dismantling of the VA.
It's the same playbook every day. We're seeing a total assault on the concept of a public good. Whether it's health care for veterans or, as we're seeing today, the very right to cast a ballot that actually counts.
Precisely, John. We've got a massive lineup. Wait, let me rephrase. We have a packed episode today. Supreme Court overreaches, a judicial blockade on reproductive rights, and a naval operation in the Strait of Hormuz that looks less like freedom and more like a fuse for World War III. Let's start with the gavel coming down on the Voting Rights Act. Again. The Supreme Court, specifically our friends in the conservative majority, decided to take a sledgehammer to Louisiana's congressional districts in Louisiana versus Calais.
Oh, spare me the legal niceties, Julian. They didn't just rule. They basically handed the GOP a set of wire cutters and said, here, go ahead, snip the black vote right out of the map.
No, literally, it's giving 1876 vibes.
According to PBS and the reports coming out of the courtroom, Justice Alito's opinion basically redefined the whole game. You used to just have to prove a discriminatory effect. You know, like a normal person looking at a map and seeing all the black voters packed into one tiny corner. But now the court says you have to prove intentional discrimination.
So unless the state legislature publishes a literal manifesto titled How We Plan to Rob Black People of Their Voice, it's totally legal? I mean, it's the legal equivalent of saying a bank robbery isn't a crime unless the guy leaves a signed note saying, I intended to take this money.
Exactly. Former Attorney General Eric Holder called the court destructive and deeply irresponsible. And he's right. I'm telling you, it is absurd. We're talking about 19 majority-minority seats that are now basically sitting ducks for the 2028 cycle.
It's the NPC-ification of the voter base, Julian. They want us to just be background characters while they map out the win. But low-key, James Tallarico is the main character energy we need right now. Did you guys see that fundraising haul?
$27 million in a single quarter for a Senate bid in Texas? I gotta tell you, that's not just grassroots, that's a goddamn prairie fire.
Tallarico is the real deal. The Texas Tribune is reporting that he's basically built a war chest out of sheer, unadulterated hope and a very clear-eyed understanding that Ken Paxton is a clear and present danger to the Republic.
Well, speaking of Paxton, he's currently in a legal street fight with Act Blue. The Democratic fundraising giant actually sued him in Boston on May 1st.
Paxton's been trying to shadow ban Democratic donations by claiming Act Blue is doing illegal straw man schemes. It's such a reach. It's high-key embarrassing.
It's a fishing expedition, Maya. He's using the Office of the Attorney General as a private detective agency for the MAGA movement. But look, if we lose the ability to fundraise across state lines and the Supreme Court keeps cracking and packing districts, the ballot box becomes a suggestion box that isn't even plugged in.
It's not just the ballot box they're coming for, Julian. They're coming for the bathroom cabinet, too.
Okay, lead the way, Mary. What's the Fifth Circuit done now?
They've turned into a literal death squad for bodily autonomy. This past Friday, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, those lovely folks in New Orleans, unanimously ruled that the FDA has to stop the mailing of mifepristone.
An actual nationwide ban on mail-order abortion pills in 2026? It's like we're speed running the 1950s 50s.
1 in 4 abortions in this country are done via telehealth now. 1 in 4! According to Guttmacher in the LA Times, this is the biggest obstacle since they killed Roe. They want every woman to have to march into a clinic, if she can find one, and do it in person. It's about control, John. It's not about safety.
It's just cruel. It's administrative cruelty as a lifestyle choice. I look at my goats and I think Mitch has more empathy for his herd than these judges have for the American people.
And what about the blue states? This ruling hits them too. It's a nationwide injunction. It doesn't matter if you're in New York or California, the post office is now a forbidden zone for reproductive health.
And meanwhile, we have an actual public health crisis with long COVID that the government is just ghosting.
Exactly, Maya. While the courts are busy obsessing over what's in your mail, the federal funding for long COVID clinics is drying up. Millions of people are living in what the researchers are calling a care desert.
We have the money for Project Freedom and 15,000 troops in the Gulf, but we can't fund a clinic in Queens so people can, breathe.
It's the villain arc for the whole healthcare system. They told us the pandemic is over, and then they just deleted the support for everyone who's still suffering. It's mid. It's worse than mid. It's actually sinister.
It's like a landlord who shuts off the water and then sues you for not taking a bath.
All right, let's look at the literal fires this time. We're moving into wildfire season, and the U.S. Forest Service is predictably behind the 8 ball.
I'm telling you, it is a disaster in the making.
NPR did this analysis released today, showing the Forest Service treated 1.5 million fewer acres last year. Prescribed burns down 50%. 50%!
Because they're busy playing DEI games with the funding. Did you guys see the new Trump administration rules? They're trying to cut off wildfire funding for any state that doesn't drop their diversity and inclusion programs.
High-key, using a natural disaster as a weapon to own the libs. If you don't fire your DEI officer, we're going to let your state burn down. That's the vibe. It's peak main character syndrome from the White House.
I live in the woods, Maya. I see the ladder fuels building up. When these fires start, and they've already started in Riverside and LA County, they aren't just fires. They're cataclysms. And the administration is holding the fire extinguisher hostage unless we agree to their cultural grievances.
It's absolute sabotage. It's the same thing they're doing with the energy transition. Look at the Ivanpah solar power plant. The Breakthrough Institute is reporting it's becoming a flashpoint because legacy projects are failing while the administration actively guts the new ones.
It's a pincer movement, Julian. They starve the prevention, they stall the transition, and then they point at the smoke and say, see, government doesn't work.
It's like breaking a horse's leg and then complaining it can't run the Derby.
Hey, before we move on to the chaos in the Strait of Hormuz, a quick note from our sponsor.
Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real, human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen, at Neural Network Media.
He's not a media conglomerate, folks. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations.
No, literally. It's the only way to escape the corporate algorithm era.
If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Plus, it keeps my coffee cup full, which is a matter of national security.
Okay, let's pivot to Operation Project Freedom, which is, shocker, not giving freedom at all.
This is the Strait of Hormuz situation. Trump announced it on social media, of course. 15,000 personnel, 100 aircraft, guided missile destroyers. It's a humanitarian mission to escort commercial ships?
Right. A humanitarian mission where we reject Iran's 14-point peace proposal and say they haven't paid a big enough price. It's so messy. We have 20,000 seafarers trapped there, and instead of taking the ceasefire deal, we're sending in the cavalry.
It's brinkmanship with a short fuse. And the Iranian response? Major General Abdoli basically said Project Freedom is an act of war.
And did you guys see the robotic wolf mention? China is showing off AI-powered combat systems while our own soldiers are going missing in Morocco.
The robotic wolf era is terrifying. It's like we're outsourcing the unaliving to algorithms. And Julian, your nephew Vector is probably over on the Neural Daily talking about how disruptive this is for the tech sector.
Oof. Don't even get me started on that kid. He'd sell a robotic wolf a subscription service while it was biting his leg. But this is the point, John. We're overextended. We're in Morocco, we're in the Gulf, we're in the South China Sea, and we're doing it with AI warfare that nobody actually understands.
It is the war room era, Maya. Trump rejects the peace proposal because he thinks it's unacceptable. And meanwhile, global energy prices are about to go into orbit.
It's circular capitalism. We manufacture the crisis, we send in the troops to solve it, and the only people who win are the defense contractors who already bought the politicians.
Well, at least the Senate is pretending to clean up its own act for once. Have you seen SRES 708?
The prediction market ban, Polymarket and Kelshi are officially off limits for senators and their staff.
Ha! About time. It took an Army Special Forces guy netting $400K on classified intel about Venezuela to get them to act?
Gannon Van Dyke. He used info about the capture of Nicolas Maduro to bet on Polymarket. I'm telling you, it is absurd. The Senate was becoming a literal casino for people with security clearances.
Schumer called the Senate no place for gamblers, which is rich, considering they gamble with the national budget every Tuesday.
It's a start, but AOC is right. It needs to apply to the House, and it needs to include a total ban on individual stock trading. Anything less is just a flop masquerading as progress.
And speaking of flops, Governor Spanberger in Virginia is having to debunk literal alternative facts. Donald Trump was on social media claiming she signed a tax on everything from mattresses to dog walking.
Which never happened. Those bills failed back in February. I mean, are you kidding me with this guy? He's campaigning on a lie about a bill that didn't even pass the General Assembly.
Spanberger is trying to walk this fiscal tightrope, being the affordability Democrat. But the GOP is just inventing taxes to get people angry. It's classic black book tactics. Create a ghost, scare the voters with it, and then blame the person who actually has to govern.
All right, look, we have to talk about Arcadia Lake.
God, that was a nightmare.
Sunday night in Edmond, Oklahoma. A Sunday fun day party turns into a mass shooting. 13 people in the hospital. Kids, Julian, just kids by a lake.
No suspects in custody. No fatalities confirmed yet, thank God, but it's the same loop. We're in the national trauma era.
And this is happening in the shadow of that attempt on Trump's life at the Hilton. Political violence is up 40% in a single year. We are, as a society, undergoing a biological rejection of peace.
And look at how the administration is using it. They're targeting Jimmy Kimmel now.
Because of the expectant widow joke?
Yes. Todd Blanche and the DOJ are calling for him to be fired, framing a late-night joke as incitement because of the shooting. It is a direct assault on the First Amendment.
Brendan Carr at the FCC is even doing an early license review for ABC-owned stations. That is honestly the most Soviet-style move I've seen in 40 years of covering this beat.
It's the doom loop, Mary. They use a tragedy, like the shooting, to silence the press, which creates more resentment, which leads to more violence. 61% of Americans think we're on the wrong track, and I'm surprised it's not 100.
6 in 10 people are actively avoiding the news just to preserve their mental health. It's the opt-out era because the reality is just too uncanny valley.
We cannot opt out. That's what they want. They want us so exhausted and terrified that we don't notice the Fifth Circuit stealing our bodily autonomy or the Forest Service letting the West burn.
They want us quiet while claim sharks rob veterans of their benefits using call bots. Did you see that NPR report?
5 times the monthly increase as a fee? Taking $20,000 from a disabled veteran for paperwork that's supposed to be free? That makes my blood boil. It's predatory. It's ghoulish.
We have to hold the line. From the Senate floor to the Strait of Hormuz, the Democratic Party has to be the bulwark against this descent into corporate and judicial fascism.
Here's the thing. We're living in a country where the post office is being deputized by the Fifth Circuit, the military is being used as a personal shipping escort for the Gulf, and late-night comedians are being treated like domestic terrorists. It's a lot to process while you're just trying to keep your head above water.
But we will not be silenced. We will continue to shine a light into the darkest corners of the GOP's Project Freedom and their war on reality. Democracy isn't dead yet, but it's definitely in the ICU, and we're the only ones holding the oxygen mask.
Honestly, the vibe is resistance or bust. Stay loud, stay online, and don't let the algorithm win.
And keep an eye on your neighbors, because the government clearly isn't looking out for you.
I'm gonna go check on Mitch. He's the only one who doesn't lie to me.
Until tomorrow, keep fighting the good fight. This is the